first, where are you from?
I'm from the United States,
United
Los Angeles.
Is this your first time in Japan?
Yes.
For how long you've been here?
So far, 5 days.
5 days?
And 2 more days and I'll be gone.
What's your first impression?
I arrived late at night, so
Okay.
there wasn't much available. But I had interactions with the Uber driver and the hotel reception, and neither of them spoke English. Yeah, but their first reaction was that they're sorry that they can't understand me, because in my opinion, if you're traveling somewhere, you should probably make sure you understand the local people. But on the contrary, they're like, oh, they put out their phone on Google Translate. They're like, oh, sumimasen, I don't understand English. Do you mind if we communicate with the Google Translate? And I felt like, wow. At first, I felt sorry because, I'm making them the trouble of having to speak in English. Yeah, so my very first impression of Japan was people are very polite. They really think from your perspective, especially in the service industry. Yeah, because the U.S. people always blame, like, why don't you speak English? If you're here, speak English, right? But they don't ever be like, oh, how about I try to understand them in their own language for a change, right?
I see.
So the reason I came was for a concert for a Korean singer, and I've only been to K-pop concerts in the U.S. where everyone just screams and probably records the whole time. And over here, there's no recording. You can't take pictures, you can't record anything. So I went in and I asked if I can take any pictures of the empty stage when the singer is not even up there yet. They're like, no pictures anywhere in the stadium. So, and after I sat down, I thought maybe I can sneak in a few pictures, but nobody took a picture. 2 hours. Yeah, it's like they were so excited and screaming, but nobody pulled their phone out and took anything. They really obey whatever rules are set. I think that's something that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because in some of the concerts that I've been to in the U.S., part of it cannot be recorded. It's like the sound checks or the warm-up sessions. Well, people do it anyways, and they get away with it too.
Exactly.
But over here, the whole time, I didn't see a single phone out. So yeah, people were actually, no photos, then sure, no photos whatsoever. Yeah. And another thing is I go to the gym a lot in the US, so that was really different over here. Okay, so first, I don't have any tattoos, but over here you have to cover everything up to be in the gym.
Okay.
And you also have to bring a spare pair of shoes that's for indoor only. So you need to bring a fresh pair of shoes to be on the gym floor. You swap in the locker room to the fresh shoes. And another thing is all the machines, so all of them, all the weight are put back. After people use them, they put everything back. Like all the machines, I've been here 5 days, went to the gym 5 times. I didn't see a single machine with extra weights that people left behind, which is a rare scene in the US. So I just felt like, wow. And they have like numbers on each of the horn that they put weights on. So they would say how many pieces of what weight goes here. And people would follow that exactly. So yeah, if it says 5 pieces of the 5 kilograms, it's 5 pieces of the 5 kilograms. And people actually do wipe their machines after they use like diligently, like every single, even the dumbbells, people grab a towel and they would actually wipe the handles. And that's something I see some during COVID in the US, but it's not like, not everyone really follows through, especially on like little things like dumbbells. Something else is before coming here, I had this impression of Japan that they have like rules for every little details. I expected that, and that's one of the things I look forward to, but it actually goes beyond than what I'd imagined. For example, in the gym, so when you change to your fresh shoes, the clean shoes for the indoors, they have a picture of how you're supposed to put your dirty shoes in the locker. So instead of put facing down, which will make it dirty, it tells you to put it face each other, the shoes. So they have instructions for like every little detail that you can think of, and I just thought that's very interesting.
Absolutely.
And definitely wasn't expecting it.
Wow. I heard also that you cannot play music while
Oh
working
yeah,
out.
so you can, but then it's never that loud. Sometimes you can hear other people's earphones when they're playing really loud, but I haven't heard any of that here. Oh, one other thing is in the gym they also have a women's only section. So they put a few machines and they put like a dedicated area for women only. So yeah, and that's something new too. I've never seen that before either.
So the gym is kind of separated.
Oh no, no.
Part-
So everyone can use the rest of the gym.
Okay.
So both men and women.
Okay.
But only women gets to use that portion of the gym.
For those who prefer to be kind of
Yeah, left alone, I guess.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yes, it was very eye-opening for me.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I also heard in gyms here, people, for example, should not like make sounds like.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's no yelling. Yeah. Nobody. Right? Yeah. Even when I saw people struggling with a heavy weight, it's like a very it's a very quiet. That's about it. It was never like loud yelling.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting to
So
me.
different.
Like everything's very different.
Yeah. Okay.
And also Subway works so well here.
Yeah.
And it's so easy. I can't read any Japanese,
Okay.
but it's just so easy to figure out where to get from A to B. It's just so easy.
Yeah.
Even with all the transfers, with different lines.
Yes. Why Japan? Why did you come to Japan? What were you looking for apart from the concerts?
So, like I said, I've always had this impression of Japan having like a little, it's like they have a rule for everything, right? So I watch a lot of Japanese YouTubers, and I found it so interesting that they can share. There's a rule for this. There's a rule for that. Like there's a rule for who should sit where
Okay.
when you're eating. If you're eating with your boss, how should you sit? If you're eating with your coworkers, how you should sit. So those are the little things that really got me interested in the Japanese culture, and I find it better that way when there's a rule for everything
Yeah.
beforehand, instead of people having to guess this and figure things out, because the rules are there for a reason, and I think it's usually for the better of this social interactions for people. On top of that, so I've been to China a few times, Hong Kong a few times, and I thought usually I transfer in Korea or Japan, and I figured if I'm always transferring here, why don't I actually tour the country, right?
Yeah.
Since it's one of the countries I've been really interested in anyways.
Yeah.
And I did take Japanese in college for a whole year,
Okay.
but it's too difficult.
No.
Yeah, like coming here, I don't understand anything.
No.
Yeah.
I see. What was the biggest difference between Japanese culture and, let's say, American culture?
I think I'll probably go back to having a preset rule for everything in that aspect. Because US, it's always about being free, having the freedom of choice. You can do whatever you want. But over here, there's all these preset rules that you should follow instead of doing whatever you want. Yeah, I think that's a huge contrast. I'm not saying which one is good or bad,
Yeah.
but it's just totally different in that aspect.
Exactly.